Welcome back to What Arty Noobs with General Disturbance. This is an AMX 13F3AM. It's the Tier 6 French SPG. It's located on the southwest spawn of Westfield and it's under the command of ForkQ2, and that's one of my replays. Yep, it's one of my accounts. And I'm in the very light and very small French artillery. Okay, well they built this Arty to replace the M41 HMCs, which is actually the Tier 5 American SPG. The French wanted to replace them in the 50s and they came up with this little design based on the AMX 13-ton tank with a 155mm howitzer on top of it. It's fairly nippy, and it's also got a hefty wallop on the enemy because it'll do 700 alpha, penetrating 39mm of armour, and it's got a burst radius of 8 meters, so it's very comparable in actual fact to the M12, which is a Tier 7, and this is only a Tier 6. So, Black Prince coming into view, lining the shots up. I'm fully dialed in. Here we go. Rounds out. It goes long and misses the Black Prince. There's the IS. Okay, looks like our KV-85 has just set alight and he's lost a lot of hit points. Now, I actually mentioned this battle in one of my other replays when I did a video just recently. It was about what happens when you meet the enemy. Well, I fired that round in and I was lucky because the enemy came together there at that moment, aimed it at the IS, and I got a direct hit and did 261 hit points of damage, and the KV-2 was actually stunned as well at the same time, though I didn't get any stun assist. It's rather nice when you get two tanks come together like that, because if you miss one you might hit the other one. If the shell falls short you'll hit the KV-2, if the shell goes long you hit the IS, and I got the IS. I've now hit the Black Prince. Now the reload time is just over 25 seconds, which is quite long compared to the M44, which has only got a 15-second reload. So you are waiting a long time for the shell, but then you do have a bigger alpha than the M44. That can only do 550, this one will do 700, so quite a bit more. But as I said, it's more like the M12 at Tier 6 than the American Tier than the M44 for that matter. It's actually quite fast as well. You can motor around the battlefield at 60 kilometers an hour, and that speed actually goes up if you use the stock gun, which is slightly smaller, slightly more dispersion, but it's actually is still a very good gun, but it's very light indeed. Okay, I'm loaded, lining up the shot on the IS, trying to work out what he's going to do. Fire the round in, and well, it landed next to where he was, so I suspect I probably did hit him, or at least damage him. And yes, he is stunned, so my shell must have done something to him. He's missing hit points as well, down to just 88, and I'm still marking him as target, because I can take that gun out of the game instead of going after the Black Prince. There's more than enough tanks attacking the Black Prince. I think he's there, and he was. So I've got my first kill on the IS. Okay, that's Super Chaffee. Yeah, a lot of the players got these Super Chaffies from the well-deserved reward and have been playing them, but I'm afraid it's not a very good tank because it's actually very vulnerable. You can see our Super Chaffee ram killed the other one. I found that if an RT round hits the tank, it does that. It blows up. Super Chaffee has really very little armour, and you're more than likely going to get a penetration shot when you do fire at one. Anyway, 2 kills at the moment. Trying to get this IS-2 shielded next. Half the job is actually predicting where the enemy will be so you can actually lay the round down. Now he foxed me there because I thought he was going to pull back a lot, but he didn't. He went forward instead. So he fooled me into thinking, what am I going to do? But I'm now following him, working out where he's going to be. Let him drift forward, see what he does when he comes up against one of our tanks, and he rams into him instead. And now close encounters with the KV-122, and he seems to be fairly stationary. I fire the round in, it lands in front of him, And that shields the KV-122. The IS-2 shielded took the most of the brunt of the force, and he's now one shot. And the KV-122 tried to ram kill him at that point, but he didn't get it. And in fact, actually, the KV-122 goes down to the enemy T-25AT, so it's now down to me to take out this IS-2 shielded, and that's not a problem because he was a splash kill. Okay, so we're 2 tanks down on the enemy at the moment. We're not doing so well, and I moved my aim to the east of the map because there's a bunch of tanks which are very low on hit points, and they're holding up our Thunderbolt and Peter. So I'm going to take out the Budgie first because that's the more dangerous of those two. Oh, and just as I fire, he gets killed. So I've wasted a shot, unfortunately. Not a lot I can do about that. So I'm now following the Thunderbolt, but my teammates have lost track of him. There he is again. Okay, just work out where he's going to be. Almost loaded. I know it says okay there, but sometimes the mods don't tend to give you the true figure. Rounds out. This should be a kill. And it is. So that's 4 kills now for me. Next target's the CS44, which is ahead of them. Now, I think that that guy is using that bush, so he's not going to move away from that spot because he needs that bush for his protection. If he pulls back too far, he can't see what they're doing. If he goes up too close, they can see him and they can target him. So I'm going to fire a shot, blind shot in there, and he was still there. So I was absolutely right. He was using that bush. He was fixed to the bush, and he just took a round, which was a direct hit, so he's more than likely badly damaged. At least 200, maybe 300 hit points down. Now, the big worry for me is there's a P43 Biz somewhere up in the village and a T25AT, which I haven't seen. And I was getting a bit worried at this point. And there's the P43 Biz. He's skirting the edge of the valley, coming in my direction. The AT7's that are not really in a position to help at the moment. Looks like he might have come down one of those gullies, one of those gaps. And if he is on this way, he's probably going to come through that little town. Oh, there's the T25AT, so they're both coming down. And I'm having difficulty trying to get the gun to depress on the T25AT. I was actually backing up. I fired a round in at the T25AT, so I'm now in reload. And I can't see them. I'm relying on the AT7. And in fact, now I see the T25, and he's fairly close, and so is the P43 Biz, and I'm still on reload. I auto-aim onto the T25 too. He gets taken out by the AT7. Here comes the P43. He smacked me for 228. I'm reloading. And blast him at close range. Yeah, you don't really expect that. And I've got a motor now because otherwise enemy Arty will be onto me like a shot. There's still 2 of them out there. Okay, changing course, changing direction. Try and give them a... fox them, and now I should be unspotted now, so hopefully I'm safe. But I'm going to go up where that FV304 is and try and protect them. No, I didn't go through the camp, and there's the CS44, and I suddenly realised, oh my god, the enemy's a lot closer than I thought. I'm hurriedly dialing in, but still a long way to go, and the shell is inaccurate because it wasn't fully dialed in. I felt that I had to shoot because otherwise we're going to lose the FV304. And now I've got to get to the tree line as quickly as I can. And we've lost the FV304, so we're now equal on score, and I was spotted as I crossed over there. So I'm expecting an Arty round to come in any second. I've just loaded. If I get this kill, I get a Top Gun. But I can't see the CS44. But that's the guy I hit earlier. I've locked on. I fire a round in, get a hit for 179. But the enemy M44 fired a round in and got me. So, unfortunately, at that moment, and the CS44 comes in, goes past me, but gets taken out by our P43 Tur, who's very low on hit points. So the enemy CS is down, And that now means that it's 3 versus 3. The enemy team has got 1 tank destroyer, the G28 HTC, and 2 Arty. And they're facing 2 medium tanks and a tank destroyer, the Peter, the Thunderbolt, and the AT7. Now, thankfully, in this game, I remembered to switch to another tank to watch what was going on in the battle. I'm afraid too often I forget to switch over. Oh, here's the AT7. He's found one of the Arty, takes him out. So still that T28 HTC somewhere around. And that's another Arty round coming in. That's the Hummel. Okay, because his repair kit is still on cooldown at this moment, he can't actually put his gunner back in. But he's found the T28 HTC. And now he's lost his loader as well as his commander. So he's 3 crew down. And they found the Hummel. He's off to the right. There we go. And he won't be alive for long, because the mediums will take care of him. In fact, the AT7 wants that kill, but no, doesn't get it. So it's just the T28 HTC left. Both mediums moving in. It looks like this is going to be a victory. I'm staying with the AT7 because, of course, he's the one motoring directly towards the enemy. Tough little T28 who really didn't take part in the battle, mostly because the player was so inexperienced. In fact, you can see that he's pointing the wrong way. He's got his rear to us. I think he's given up. Yeah, that player's not taking part. And there he goes. So, I didn't survive the battle, but we did get a victory. So you'll see the end of battle results for this one after the second game in our sequence. The second battle is on Ghost Town, and I'm still on the AMX 13 F3AM. Still on the 4Q2 account. Okay, game on. The French built 600 of these, and they exported them to the Middle East and to South America. It's actually quite a versatile Arty, and they were only taken out of service in as late as the 1990s. In fact, some armies still have them in their reserve stock, so they've stockpiled them and they just keep them fairly clean and ready for use at any moment. Now, I'm looking for any sign that the enemy is coming down that road towards the centre, but there's no indication at all. So what I'm going to do is I'll lob a shell into the opposite hill, just see if I can catch one of the tank destroyers that may be up there. If there is a tank destroyer up there, he's pretty annoyed by now, because he's probably just been stunned. Okay, I'm on reload. Got a Type 64 on the west side. The Super Hellcat just died. T-3485M got him. Ah, there's the Type 64. Okay, I'm almost loaded, almost fully dialed in. Now, Type 64 is a bit like a Hellcat, but a little bit lighter, a little more difficult to hit. Rounds out on him, he moves back through that spot, and the shell falls short, and he gets away with that one completely. I thought I had him there, because if the shell had actually gone straight to the aim point, he would have driven straight back into it and taken a big hit on his rear. Because remember, a penetrating shot from one of these shells is going to put you out the game, because it's 700 alpha, and he only has 366 left. So lining up the shot, rounds out, he pulls back, the shell lands just alongside him for 115, and he's now a splash kill for anyone. Okay, a little further back we saw a KV-2 come to shot briefly. There's a T-3485. Now that's not the premium one, that is the standard one, the one on the tech tree. Okay, the KV-2's come back into sight again. Suddenly spot him there. Yep, there he is. He's already lost a few hit points, so let's line him up for a shot. Rounds out. He's moving very slowly. Right onto his engine deck. 243 hit points. He's not a happy bunny. Looks like he's been tracked as well. Okay, there's a different. Is that a different one, or is it the same Type 64? I think it's a different one, actually. The enemy seems to have... no, they don't have more than one Type 64. That must be the same one. Okay, lost sight of him. Oh, there he is. Okay, line it up, rounds out. This should be a kill. Oh, it's not. He pulled back far enough to avoid the shell. And it looks like our guys got hit by the enemy Arty. Enemy Arty on this game is an M44. Okay, T-3485M took a big hit. Can I get the shots on this type? Oh, no, because he gets taken out by the Cromwell. So instead, I'm going to go for the T-3485M. He's putting back, rounds out. He fools me in by stopping. So I only get 27 hit points to splash, and the KV2 came into sight again, so I should have focused on him. But we've got a Super Chaffee over the other side of the battlefield, and he's just hit our Tier 7 Scorpion and taken him out. So can I take this guy out, because he's a splash kill as well. Rounds out. That's a kill. Blind kill. Always like blind kills. They get smacked in the face and, well, they say, I wasn't spotted. How could he hit me? Yeah, you didn't move from where you were before. Okay, the position where the Super Chaffee was is now being occupied by KV-122. So I'm dialing in on him. Almost ready. 4, 3, 2. Fire early. But I get a direct hit and he's out the game as well. So 2 kills now. KV2 comes into sight. Just completing the reload. Leading the target at this moment. He's going along the very edge of the map. Sometimes that slows you down. Makes you more vulnerable. Rounds out. It goes to the right and long. And only stuns him. Again, I've got a bit of rescue bloom here because I'm right at the edge of the field of fire. The gun does have quite a wide arc, but not as wide as the M44. And it's kind of a lopsided arc as well. You might be able to notice that. Rounds out the KV2. This might be a kill shot. And it is. Another blind kill. He did go unspotted just as the shell arrived. And then reappeared as a wreck. So I've now got 3 kills. T-3485M hiding behind the rock. Can I get a round in? Oh, T-3485 turns up a little way away. Fire a round in. He's not really moving, but I only get 100 of splash off him because the shell went to the left. Now, the type is making a bit of a boo-boo if he tries to go over that ridgeline. He needs to stay back and just keep the guy in sight until he's badly injured. Then he can pop over and administer the kill shot. Okay, we're loaded. Rounds out straight away and he moves away. But the shell goes long and he takes damage and is immediately killed by our 45 TP. So there's only 4 enemies left and we seem to be doing rather well. 4 enemies, and I'm expecting one of the Arty is going to be in that dip. There was a Chi 2 scene down there somewhere. There he is. Okay, I'm loaded. The E25 goes in a bit foolhardy to do that. The shell lands. It splashes the E25, but the Chi 2 is badly damaged. We lose the E25. Unfortunately, he goes down to the Chi 2, but the Chi 2 is still stunned. Still tracked, and now he's moving again. But he's a one-shot, so I know I can get that one. Now there's 2 tanks up on the hill. We've got a steel Waffenträger, and apparently they've also got a Firefly up there. Rounds out the steer. Hits the rock face, unfortunately. My teammates are coming up the hill. There's the Firefly. Difficult shot. Can't really get that one easily, but I probably hit the Waffenträger. Lining him up for his shot. If he keeps backing up, I might be able to get him, but he doesn't. He pulls forward, rounds out in that spot, and he managed to dodge that one completely, and he goes YOLO in and takes out the 45 TP. Okay, still trying to get the Waffenträger. Lose sight of him, so I switch back to the Firefly. I know where he is, but he also does the same as the Waffenträger. Pulls down, quickly runs down to try and get the kill on the Type and the Cromwell, and they're badly wounded now. They're one shot, so I fire around at the Firefly and wipe him out. So I've got another kill. That's 4. Still Waffenträger next. Still don't know where the Chi-2 is. And we lose the Type. It's only an 88mm gun on that steel, but it will just carve straight through a fairly weak tank, and, well, both of them go down. I wound him. He is now one shot. I only need to land a shell near him, and I've got the kill. There's the Waffenträger. He's making a run for it down the other side of the hill, trying to get away. So I line the shot up ahead of his path, rounds out, and... Yes! Yes, he was fairly badly damaged, so it was obvious that he was going to go down. That was my 5th kill. Well, here the Chi-2's managed to get into the town. It looks like he's headed this way. I'm going to try and get a shot, but I think I'm going to lose sight of him any second because nobody's spotting him now. And yes, I've lost sight of him. I fire a blind shot in, no joy. And I'm pretty certain he's headed in my direction, possibly to get revenge on me. So I'm going to move. Can't stick around here if he's coming directly towards me. He's not coming to cap because he knows he can't cap out without getting taken out, but he can probably get me if I sit around the same spot and do nothing. Here he comes. I'm loaded, ready to go. I need one shot, one clean shot. Yes! Right in the face! Top Gun, and wins the game. Just keep it calm and you'll do it. So let's have a look at the end of battle stats of the first battle, and then we'll have the end of stats for this one. When the first battle, it was an ace tanker game, and I've had an ace tanker in this one on this account before, and it was very nice still to get one. I also got a fighter badge for getting at least 4 kills. I got 5, 1/3 of the enemy team, just one short of getting a Top Gun. And I also got a bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. I got 13 in total. My win rate for the battle was 4.569, which is super unicum standard, so I was fairly happy with that. And yeah, I was disappointed that I died, but then there was not a lot I could do. The enemy Arty knew where I was, and well, the CS-44 had spotted me. And I could see that CS-44 coming to try and get revenge after I smacked him with that round. And you can see actually here, I hit him for 440 hit points over 2 different shots. And yes, so I think he was pretty much looking for revenge on me for my earlier work. You can see on the team scores that I was actually the 2nd highest damage in the game. The 87 got the highest. He got 2,498 hit points, but he didn't get the high caliber. I got 2,162 in 2nd place, and the budgie on the enemy team got 1,468, so he was 3rd. When it came to kills though, I was top with 5 kills, 3 kills for the 87, and then there was 2 kills for a number of tanks. And when it came to base XP, I was top on that one as well with 1,104, 972 to the 87, 775 to the Super Chappy, and I was the only player to get over 1,000 base. I fired 18 rounds in that game, got 7 direct hits, no penetration but 16 splash. Damage of 2,162 hit points, of which 1,864 was at more than 300 meters. I received 1 hit. It was a penetration. That was from the CS-44 that came in to try and kill me. Or was it the 82, the tank destroyer? I think it may have been the, or it may have been the P-43 Biz actually that hit me. Yeah, I think it was the P-43 Biz that actually got the penetrating shot, and the CS-44 didn't hit me. He was just spotting for the Arty. He was coming in to try and get me, but the P-43 Biz saw me right up close, and it was very unfortunate for him that he chose that moment to do it just as I was loading, and therefore he got a full shot right in his side, which effectively took him out the game. He also did a fair bit of damage actually on that game as well. 1,268 hit points, so you can see he was actually quite a good player, and he managed to stay alive for quite some time. If we look at the detail report, we can see I fired 18 rounds, got 7 direct hits, no penetration, 16 splash, damage of 2,162 hit points, of which 1,864 were at more than 300 meters. I received 1 hit, was a penetration, that was the one I mentioned earlier, and 1 hit by way of splash, that was the M44 that killed me. I earned 59,363 credits from the game, and I also took away 8,280 experience points as well, because it was a ×4 day. So not a bad game, ace tanker for the first one on Westfield. Let's have a look at the results for the Ghost Town game. Well, that one was only a second class tanker, would you believe it? I did get a bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. In this one I got 15. And of course I got the top gun because I got 6 kills in the game. 3,102, slightly less on the win 8. But I did get the final shot of the game, which I think was very satisfying indeed, because I knew that guy was coming for me. And I was absolutely certain he wasn't coming to cap. He wanted to kill the Arty, and he was going to go out with a bang either way. Anyway, if we look at the team score, we can see that, yes, I didn't get the highest damage in the game. The 45 TP picked up a high caliber for 2,497. After that, it was the E25, who got 1,826. Got a bit carried away attacking their Chi 2 and got taken out by that guy. And the next highest damage after that was actually the M44, and the enemy team got a Confederate for 1,654. I got 1,633. So I'm actually not third, I was 4th on damage. But of course I got that top gun, which put me top of the table when it came to kills. 5 kills went to the Steel Waffenträger, 4 kills went to the 45 TP, who also got the high caliber. When it came to base XP, it's the 45 TP who did the best with the high caliber. He got 877, I got 862, not far behind him, and 850 went to the Cromwell. I fired 20 rounds in this game, 5 direct hits, no penetrations but 15 splash, damage of 1,633 hit points, of which 1,486 were at more than 300 meters. The close shot, the difference between those two, was the last shot of the game, which was right in his face. As you can see, it was a very satisfying shot indeed to whack that guy and give him what for. I earned 37,101 credits from that game. Not as much as the previous game, but still very good. 6,465 XP, because this time round I got a mission completion of 2,586 as well. So it was a good earner on XP, and I said, trust me, I'm deadly. Yeah, I am pretty, when I'm actually going and I get into my stride, I really do start enjoying these games, and they're almost like a chess game almost, trying to work out what I've got to do next in order to take down the enemy. But I was certain that that last tank, the Chi 2, was definitely coming from my scalp, and so I wasn't going to let him get it, and that was a good end to the battle. So I hope you enjoyed both those replays. If you did, please give this video a like, do subscribe to our channel, leave a comment down below because it feeds the algorithm, and thanks for watching.